My name's Dolores Halbin. I'm from Central Missouri, West Central Missouri. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and I'm an ordained parish nurse. So I consider this a ministry as well as a calling, I suppose. Our story started, I guess, in 2007 when my husband had a retinal bleed in his eye from diabetes. And we didn't have any idea how serious it was. I was an ICU nurse, and we didn't pay a lot of attention to inner eye. I worked at the local hospital, and he ran his own business, and this spot went in 2 weeks to a half his eye, and extremely painful. And by the time we got to the eye doctor, he was just like, I needed you here 2 weeks ago when this happened. Long story short, between 2007 and 2011, my husband had 7 microsurgeries on that eye trying to save it. They did not save it. It was blind and painful. We were getting eye drops that were costing, one of them was $275 for one bottle. We spent up to $500 a month out of pocket. We were uninsured. Finally, the eye doctors we were going to at Truman Foundation, we were there on a grant, and they said, we just have to remove your eye. There's nothing more we can do. So we were scheduled for an eye ablation, which is a high-risk surgery, 8 separate surgeries to get a new eye put in, fake eye. Columbo made it look easy, but it's not. And when we were in the operating room, they were getting ready to put his IV in, and accounting came in and asked us for $800. I'm like, I could use $800 too. So long they made us leave. And we'd been NPO since midnight. We'd driven an hour and a half to get there. So we went to see my mother, who was 80. And she said to me, I raised 6 of you children through the 60s and the 70s. I know that cannabis and pot are the same thing because they smelled the same. And as a child, her uncle had had glaucoma. And she said, I know what it smells like. He smoked every 2 hours when he stayed with us. He could get it at the local pharmacy. She said, Jean, why wouldn't you do that? That stuff's not still illegal. It's not still illegal, is it? I was like, yeah, Mom, it kind of is. So anyway, he did try it, and it was instantaneous pain relief. Normal eye pressure is 20. My husband's was 60. It's measured PSI, like with the tire, normal tire pressure's 30. So he had an exploding eyeball all the time. And as long as he smoked every 2 hours, it kept his eye pressures down to the point that we were able to go back to work. He couldn't drive, so I kind of went PRN, and we kept our business going because that way he could do something. We could do it together. In 2014, the day after we'd taken our grandkids all to the St. Patrick's Day parade, I was on my way home on March 18th from a family member having surgery, and we live in the middle of nowhere. When I got to my road, there was a line of police cars in my driveway, and I knew that my Pandora's box had just been opened, and that the worst that could happen to me as a local RN had just happened. And I kept driving. I was terribly worried about my husband. I had lunch. We'd had grandkids for 4 days, so I knew there was no food in the house, and he needed to eat with his diabetes, and he'd already shot his insulin, and I had lunch with me, and I kept driving because I thought, I'm going to need to get bail money. They can't keep him in jail. That'll kill him. He's on too many meds. We were nursing a toe infection. He just had stent surgery. He was on blood thinners. So they didn't take him to jail that day. They were very nice about walking out with his life force and his gun collection and his grandfather's antique pipe collection, and they said they would send a summons. So on the 30th of March, Don Bradley of the Kansas City Star interviewed us, and our story went viral. It went to 9 countries in 10 languages. Maybe out of retaliation for that, I don't know, but on Thursday, the 4th of April, they did arrest us both. They set our bond at $25,000 apiece, which is higher than most rapists get in the state of Missouri. And bond reduction hearings in Bates County are only on Wednesdays, guaranteeing us a week in jail, which I survived. It was educational for me. I was in with women that were very nurturing and very caring, and all nonviolent drug offenders, all 22 of them, and their 44 children were all homeless. My husband was put in a 12 by 12 cell with another man already in it, one-man cell, and given a mat for the floor. And for 1 week, he did not receive his insulin, his blood pressure medicine, his blood thinners, or his antibiotics. It took 16 months, 5 toe amputations, a half a foot amputation for him to die at home on hospice on Thanksgiving night. We were married 40 years. I've been with him since I was 14, and it just wasn't necessary. My grandchildren loved him so much. So, when this happens, it happens to your whole family. It happened to our children. No one slept the week we were in jail. Our kids set up a GoFundMe to raise the bail to get out. We got a call from some guy right after we got out of jail that said, go to Jefferson City and talk to the law committee. And we're driving down there, and it's like, who are you? And he goes, well, I'm Dan Viets, I'm your attorney. I'm like, good, I think we're going to need you later. And he's become a dear friend. And when we walked into the law committee hearing, we were not prepared for what we saw. There were 9 moms with their seizure babies, ranging from 3 months in age to 50. There was a 70-year-old mom holding her son's hand, and they all had their helmets on. And it came our time to speak, and my husband wouldn't get up. He said, if you think I'm going to get up in front of these women and complain about a little eye pain, you're crazy. He goes, you go up there and you talk for these moms. And I did, and we got the CBD oil portion of our medical bill passed that year, but one of the contracts was awarded to the Bush family in Missouri, and they have yet to produce 1 bottle in 2 years of Charlotte's Web for our children, not one. So he went everywhere. We went everywhere. His last public appearance was at the Kansas City Normal meeting in October. He fell twice getting in the meeting. Managed to get upstairs and say, do this for the children, please, do this for the children. And in less than a month, he was dead. And that's my story.